Hi, I'm David Carr. I am the chair of EVV We're about elevating the value of virtual, specifically virtual speaking and presenting, how you can be effective online at creating a real connection with your audience. I'm here with Susan Lindner, who is an old friend of contact from the media world. I was a reporter. She was a PR person. She was pitching me. I was sometimes paying attention, sometimes not, but she was nice enough that when I looked her up and said, I see that you do a lot of public speaking. Would you be interested in participating in this event? She was nice enough to put together a proposal. Can you tell us, Susan, a little bit about what you're going to bring that will add something special to this event?
Yeah, so we all know presenting in the virtual world is a big shift from those of us who like to be on big stages in front of thousands of people. Now we're just doing it with lots of Brady Bunch eyes staring right back at us. The way of engaging those eyeballs over the course of time, some of us are converting one-day workshops now into 90-minute segments, right? And holding the attention of the adult listener and learner really involves a lot of new techniques. So I know some of my fellow speakers are going to talk about lighting and setup and all the cool production value things. But for me, my heart lies with storytelling. And that relies on engaging some of the neuroscience involved with holding people's attention, generating real emotion through this medium of Zoom, and allowing people to walk away with a message that not only can they hold on to, but they can repeat and share with others. And that's the critical factor of coming away from a virtual event is not only does your content live in the moment with people, but how will you inspire them to actually remember it and share it?
All right, cool. And you've been in the world of technology PR primarily, or startups in general. I don't know whether it's just IT or do you get into biotech and things like that as well?
So all things innovation, as I like to see it, is how we're moving humanity forward, starting with tech. Certainly, that's my background and that's been my first love. But before coming into technology, I was in public health for 10 years. And my last gig was as a field epidemiologist working for the CDC, tracking strains of HIV coming into the United States. So it's almost a full circle moment coming back now on the heels of the coronavirus and seeing all different kinds of, I work in now all different kinds of innovation from science and physics and all the way to hardware and software and everything in between.
Very cool. Very cool. And how is delivering that kind of a message? I mean, is it different or would it be the same for any company about the message that they need to get out and how
So
they convey it?
what we'll be talking about at the conference are the 5 eternal rules of innovation storytelling. So how do we tell a story that's inherently asking our audience to change their thinking and to change their behavior? And especially in the corporate world, how do we make that happen? And so what I do is take a look at the greatest viral storytellers of all time, the prophets, ranging from those like Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, all the way up to modern day prophets like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, who taught us how to move our behavior. You can decide whether they're a prophet you'd like to follow, but
Oh,
but they have
okay.
really harnessed the power of real communication devices. And I break those down. What are those communication devices that allow us to take the pivotal part of storytelling, which is a memory making device, and deploy that so that other people can repeat it, just like our grandmothers and grandfathers did for us, or our pastors and priests and Buddhist monks would share with us the stories that have been passed down for thousands of years. They're techniques that each of us can and must learn to be effective innovators today.
Okay. And you talked a little bit about the transition to presenting online rather than up on stage. How much of a difference does it make? I talk about the opportunities and the obstacles. Which do you think is more significant? Is it an opportunity, or do you see obstacles to creating with your connecting with your audience?
Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's no replacing the sheer energy of being in a room with 2,000 people and sharing an experience together and feeling that energy come back to you. That's a beautiful thing. As a speaker, I miss that desperately, having that as a day-to-day experience. But I will say the opportunity to reach people around the world in all time zones, in many languages simultaneously is an equal rush.
Yeah.
And I think probably one of the greatest indicators of that is watching Tony Robbins invest $1 million in setting up an entire studio so he could see all of those beautiful faces and still get the energy back from that group in order to, share a moment. So I think, like anything else, if you're an innovator, you adapt or die.
Yeah.
And so, figuring out the ways to make connections with people, no matter where they are, right in front of you or through a screen, that's our job as speakers. And so we need to hone our craft in order to make that energy present for whomever we're speaking to, wherever that is.
I'd be really curious too, have you been in situations where it's a hybrid, where you're supposed to pay attention to the in-person audience and you also have a remote audience? Is that starting to happen for you?
It certainly has. And it's not easy. I'll say that, as a speaker, making sure that you bring everyone along for the ride is critical. And sometimes, when you're in a room with people, you can do a show of hands technique, right? Or you can do that on Zoom as well. But other people, if you have thousands of people, then you're getting all these virtual reactions. Sometimes it even goes one step further. You're doing a Facebook Live, you're doing a Zoom event, and you have people simultaneously. To be honest, you feel like the queen on the red carpet, not knowing where to look exactly to connect with your audience. But engagement is the key word. And so figuring out what are those techniques, both technologically and verbally, to create those cues where people feel connected is critical.
Well, I'm so happy to have you as part of this event. Susan, can you tell people where they go to sign up to be part of EVVCon?
Well, run, don't walk to your computer and sign up for evvcon.com. Did I get that right?
That's right.
And sign up now. I'm so excited, right? Just check out EVVCon, put it in your Google if you can find it, evvcon.com. That is the place to be. And, I'm so excited to take a Saturday to learn from some of the best speakers in the world who are going to teach us techniques that I know I still need to learn to improve my craft from the stage every time. I know all of us want to be better at giving our audiences a tremendous experience. And so I'm just so excited to learn from some of the best and brightest in the industry. So thank you, David, for the opportunity.
All right. And right after you're at evvcon.com, you have to go over to susanlindner.com and find out more about her and her services. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you so much, David. Can't wait.